Let's discuss the 7 warning signs of a B12 deficiency. B12 is a significantly important vitamin because it is involved in the production of DNA and the myelin sheath, which is the protective coating surrounding your nerves. Think of it like the insulation on an electrical wire. If you were to strip off that outside coating, it would potentially cause a short circuit. The same thing happens within your nervous system, which we will cover. Additionally, B12 is essential for creating things like red blood cells, which is quite important. Therefore, B12 is very, very vital, and it is crucial for you to recognize these symptoms. There are usually 7 major symptoms that are not necessarily related to one another, but identifying them is important because if you are deficient in B12, you can actually experience irreversible damage to your nervous system. We are going to cover all of that. First, I want to mention something regarding the types of B12 available. There are 2 versions, a natural version of B12 and a synthetic version. Naturally, I am always going to recommend that you take the natural version. The natural form is called methylcobalamin. That is the specific one you want to look for in your supplements. The other version is synthetic, which I do not recommend, and it is called cyanocobalamin. I recommend that you avoid that one because it is synthetic. Now, what is quite interesting about B12 is that the primary reason people become deficient is not necessarily because they aren't eating foods containing B12. Instead, it has to do with malabsorption, or simply the inability to absorb the vitamin. B12 absorption is very complex, involving many processes occurring from the stomach down to the small intestine. During absorption, your body requires a specific carrier transportation protein to help you absorb it, which is called intrinsic factor. If you do not have this protein, or if you suffer from an autoimmune disease, you can develop something called pernicious anemia. I don't want to go too deep into that, but it is another problem caused by an autoimmune reaction to intrinsic factor or the stomach cells that produce it. The point is that the reason people cannot absorb B12 is often that they have some type of stomach atrophy, a lack of hydrochloric acid, gastritis, a stomach ulcer, or conditions like celiac disease, Crohn's, or irritable bowel syndrome further along the digestive tract. Any of these conditions can severely block the absorption of B12. Many people have these issues and then become B12 deficient because they don't connect the dots. They don't understand that to absorb B12, you need a healthy digestive system. B12 deficiency is very common among the elderly, affecting about 20% of everyone over the age of 60. Personally, I believe the major reason is a lack of hydrochloric acid production, or a lack of acid concentration in the stomach. As we get older, we lose the acidity of our stomachs and, consequently, the ability to absorb B12. This is another reason why I recommend that everyone over the age of 55 start taking things to acidify the stomach, such as betaine hydrochloride or apple cider vinegar. That alone will start increasing B12 levels, and the person will begin to have more and more energy. We do not need much B12. We need it in micrograms, not milligrams. An average person needs anywhere between 2.4 micrograms and 2.8 micrograms. These are very small amounts, but when you buy a B-complex product, which you must be careful with because most are synthetic, the label might say it contains 1,000 to 5,000% more B12 than your body actually needs. There can be some problems with excessive amounts of B12. Typically, I recommend getting your B12 from your diet, as it is very easy to obtain that way. Let's talk about the foods where you can find B12. Of course, animal liver, like beef liver, provides a lot of B12, as does kidney. Personally, I don't like liver or kidney, but you can take them as a supplement if you are anemic. Other sources include clams and other seafood, sardines, beef, and other meats like chicken and fish. Some fermented products like kimchi and sauerkraut might contain B12 as well. Fermented dairy, such as cheese, has some B12. Even insects have B12, so if you ever feel like crunching on some insects, you'll get some B12. Nutritional yeast is another source, but not always, because many brands are fortified with synthetic B12, which I don't recommend. I have a nutritional yeast product where I add the natural version, methylcobalamin, but many others use synthetics derived from petroleum. Another interesting point is that vegans or vegetarians often become deficient because they don't eat animal products. However, when I had my wheatgrass juice powder tested, I was shocked to find it had double the B12 requirements. This comes from bacteria living on the plants because we use low-heat processing. Now, let's go through these 7 symptoms. Do you feel exhausted even after resting? Low vitamin B12 can make it harder for your body to produce healthy red blood cells. When this happens, less oxygen reaches your tissues. As a result, you may feel tired, sluggish, or physically drained throughout the day. Many people describe it as a type of exhaustion that doesn't improve with sleep. You wake up tired. You stay tired. And by afternoon, you feel like your battery is completely empty. While fatigue can have many causes, persistent low energy is often one of the earliest clues that something may be off. Have you ever felt a pins and needles sensation in your feet? Or noticed numbness in your fingertips? Vitamin B12 helps maintain the protective covering around your nerves. When levels become too low, nerve signals may not travel as efficiently. This can lead to tingling, numbness, burning sensations, or unusual feelings in the hands and feet. Some people describe it as wearing invisible gloves or socks. Others say their feet feel strange when walking. This symptom can develop gradually, making it easy to overlook. But it should never be ignored. Do you walk into a room and forget why you went there? Forget names more often? Struggle to focus on conversations? Occasional forgetfulness happens to everyone, but vitamin B12 plays an important role in supporting healthy brain function. When levels drop, some people experience brain fog, slower thinking, difficulty concentrating, or increased forgetfulness. The tricky part is that these symptoms are often blamed entirely on aging. But in some cases, low B12 may be contributing to the problem. Keeping your brain healthy isn't just about crossword puzzles and reading books. It's also about giving your brain the nutrients it needs. Have you noticed yourself feeling less steady on your feet? Maybe you reach for furniture more often. Maybe stairs feel a little more challenging. Vitamin B12 helps support nerve function throughout the body, including the nerves involved in balance and coordination. When these nerves aren't working properly, walking may feel less stable. Some people report feeling clumsy or off balance without understanding why. Since falls become more dangerous as we age, paying attention to changes in balance is extremely important. A simple nutrient deficiency may sometimes play a role. Most people don't immediately connect vitamin B12 with emotional health. But your brain relies on nutrients to support healthy communication between nerve cells. Low B12 has been associated with mood changes such as increased irritability, low motivation, feeling down, and reduced interest in activities. Of course, mood changes can have many causes. But if you've noticed a shift in how you feel emotionally, it may be worth considering whether nutrition could be part of the picture. Your brain is an organ, and like every organ, it needs proper nourishment. Do simple activities leave you unusually winded? Walking upstairs, carrying groceries, doing yard work. Vitamin B12 helps support healthy oxygen delivery throughout the body. When oxygen transport isn't working optimally, everyday activities can feel more exhausting than they should. You may find yourself needing more breaks. You may feel tired sooner than expected, and your physical endurance may seem lower than it used to be. Many people assume they're simply getting older, but sometimes the body is signaling that it needs support. This final sign is one many people never hear about. A healthy tongue normally has tiny bumps on its surface. In some cases, low vitamin B12 may contribute to a tongue that appears unusually smooth, swollen, or tender. Some people notice burning sensations. Others experience discomfort while eating certain foods. While this symptom isn't as common as fatigue or numbness, it can be another clue that your body may not be getting enough B12. Now that we've covered the signs, let's talk about why this becomes more common with age. One major reason is reduced stomach acid. As we get older, the body often produces less stomach acid than it did in younger years. Stomach acid helps separate vitamin B12 from food, so it can be absorbed. Less acid can mean less absorption. Certain medications may also affect absorption over time. In addition, some older adults simply don't eat enough foods rich in vitamin B12. Vegetarians and vegans may be at higher risk because most natural sources of B12 come from animal foods. The important thing to remember is this: low B12 isn't necessarily caused by doing something wrong. Sometimes it's simply a result of how the body changes with age. The good news is that vitamin B12 is found in several nutrient-dense foods. Some of the richest sources include beef, salmon, sardines, tuna, eggs, milk, yogurt, and cheese. Seafood is especially rich in vitamin B12. Many older adults benefit from including fish in their meals several times per week. Eggs and dairy products can also help support healthy B12 intake. If you follow a plant-based diet, fortified foods may provide some vitamin B12 as well. If this information has changed the way you look at your daily energy and health, please subscribe to our channel and like this video. We are uncovering the vital health secrets that are often overlooked. Let's nourish your future. Our next deep dive into wellness will be opening soon.